Swap.
Yo.
What the fuck? You sick?
Oh, no, I just had a stomach thing, sir.
Staff Sergeant Sykes. I'm with surveillance and target acquisition. Stay. I heard it took 6 guys to pull a little Brandon trick on you. And your file says that you ain't too fucking dumb either, so you better get unsick most motherfucking Ricky Tick, because there's a chance that you could be a scout sniper. The fuck is this? Strange. That came. That's some heavy dope right there, Marine.
Pretty funny, huh? Yeah. It's a good impression. I recognize myself. All right, carry on. Quick word, specialist.
Sir?
Tell me, Pillow. You understand why we have a chain of command, don't you?
Roger that, sir.
Because if I ever see you undermining again, you'll be cleaning the trains with your tongue, so you can't taste the difference between shit and french fries. Will we clear?
Who, sir?
All right.
Move it! Move it! Move it! Are you quitting on me? Well, are you? Then quit, you slimy fucking walrus-looking piece of shit! Get the fuck off of my obstacle! Get the fuck down off of my obstacle! Now! Move it!
Yipee-Ki-Yay, Mr. Falcon.
Hello.
Hey.
Movies. I saw a new movie that I liked.
That's a rarity these days.
Yeah, but in keeping with tradition, I went online and found out everyone else hates it. So the planets are still aligned. Everything's okay.
All right.
I saw the Nick Cage Jesus horror movie, The Carpenter's Son.
I did actually hear that was pretty good.
You know, it's got like a 4.4 on IMDb for what that's worth, and I'm like, I was a little surprised because I was expecting, like, you know, just a level above dog shit, right? Because you never know. Like Nick Cage, you could get like The Pig, which was an amazing movie, or you can just get a pile of shit. You just never know, and when it's good, it's just delightful.
That many Nick Cage dog shit movies that I can think of off the top of my head.
Been doing
I'm not
good
saying
lately.
I can't think of them, but yeah.
He's been doing pretty good lately. He's been turning them in. But so I
liked that unbearable, whatever, the weight of talent.
Oh, talent. Yeah, that was, well.
I can't remember the adjectives, but yeah.
The unbearable weight of something.
Yeah.
So this movie has a little bit of a backstory that's kind of cool. Apparently, I don't know how it came up. It must have came up in an interview with Robert Eggers. And someone said something about you should have Nick Cage in one of your movies. And he said, I said something to the effect that I don't think Nick Cage would fit in the types of movies I make. And apparently Mr. Cage / Coppola took umbrage with this. And he told his agent to find the most Robert Eggers-like script he could. And they found this script and they made it.
I mean, Nicolas Cage has a very diverse, body of work. I can't think of many genres he hasn't dipped his toes into.
Yeah, pretty much all of them. The weirdest thing is when we were introduced, I don't know, when I was introduced to him as a kid, it was as a semi-action star, which was a weird phase of his career and a brief one when you look at the whole thing. But, that was what, Face Off and The Rock.
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah, he did a few of those around that time that were very much tentpole, kind of heavy action set piece movies. And that's what I found out he had this whole weird career of offbeat indie shit before that. And then he just kept getting weirder and weirder. But this one is based on the I'm a Catholic school kid, so maybe that's why I like this so much. It was like seeing a comic book version of the stories you heard your whole life. It's based on the infancy gospel of Thomas, which is a book that is not in the canonical Bible. It's in the Apocrypha, so it was a rejected book. It was rejected from the canon. But for
Lake Bible.
Yeah. But for how many ever hundreds of years, people thought of it as a part of the Bible, and that gospel tells a little bit of what so if you read the Gospels in the Bible, Jesus' age jumps from like 14 to 30. We don't know anything officially about what his entire life was. And this gospel tells a little bit of his like teenage years. And they're not good.
Okay.
Like they're not wholesome. He kills a lot of people.
Kills a lot. I thought you were just gonna say like,
dude, it's
kind of a dick.
It's so fucking funny. After all these years and years of superhero movies, it's so much like a superhero origin story in a lot of ways. Like there's all these like discovering his powers and trying to figure out whether he's going to use them for good or evil. And there's one point where he's a very young kid and he bumps into another kid in a crowd. Like this kid shoulders him, so he kills him. Just drops dead,
as you do.
Yeah, I mean, and he's Jesus, so he just looks at him and the fucking kid just withers and dies. And he does a bunch of like. That
was one of his less talked about powers.
Yeah. The withering and dying. Yeah, So he does a bunch of those morally questionable things. So this movie took that idea and like mixed it with the idea of Satan tempting Jesus throughout his entire life, which is kind of something that the Last Temptation of Christ hit on, and it was pretty heavy-handed in the Passion of the Christ. But I don't know, man. The acting was a lot better than I expected from everybody. It was a really small cast, and you could tell they didn't have a ton of budget, but they filmed in Egypt. So it had this like, I don't know, you could tell it wasn't a shitty set or dressed up Arizona. You know what I mean? So it had a cool air to it. Nick Cage he acted his giant nose off. He had a terrible wig. He was wearing a terrible wig and his teeth were far too white. But he really acted his ass off. And I don't know. I watched it twice, believe it or not. And the supporting cast, they had this teenage kid playing young JC, Teengis, if you will. And he did a great job. And I was shocked at how well the whole thing lent itself to horror. Because, it makes a lot of sense when you take a step back. And, of course,
Nicolas Cage was not playing Jesus, correct?
No, he is playing Joseph. Joseph. He is the titular carpenter.
Okay. So teen Jesus is Jesus. It's not like we're flashing back to like teenage. Yeah,
no.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's no flashbacks. Like it doesn't take place at the Last Supper and he's like remembering his childhood or something. Like, and it's also kind of a they also it depends on what you know going into it, because you don't know if he's actually Jesus in the very beginning of the movie. You're not super sure. They never call him by name, and of course they wouldn't call him Jesus anyway. I don't know, man. It had a charm to it.
What would they call him? I'm uneducated on this. I thought Jesus was his name, right?
It would be Yeshua.
Okay.
Remember, oh God, what was it?
I'm going to straight up say whatever your question is, no. I do not remember.
No, you know this part.
I was a horrible Sunday school
student.
This
one. Indiana Jones, man. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Remember
the Latin alphabet, Jehovah begins with an I.
Jehovah begins with an I, yeah. So
I'm not going to try to do the accent.
It's just it's the Aramaic version of what the name originally was. And the anglicized version is Jesus.
Sure.
But Jehovah came first, and it comes from the name of Yeshua. There's a cool book called Lamb, written by Christopher Moore. It's a novel.
Yeah, it was the Gospel According to Biff or something like that.
Yeah. It was about it was the story told of Jesus' childhood told from his best friend Biff. His point of view, and his name was Josh in that, and that was it was the same thing. It was filling in the same gap in the Gospels. What a fun book that was. But of course, people thought this movie was blasphemous and awful and everything. But it was definitely shockingly good. Bad CG, little bad CG snakes. There's some bad CG snakes, but what are you gonna do? And so that's my new movie for the week. I'm very, Yeah, it is what it is. It's on Blu-ray. It's not on 4K. They're putting something out on 4K. Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Yeah, Under Siege gets a 4K before. What is your current?
My
Crusade?
current benchmark is Fight Club.
Fight Club, right? It used to be Sunset Boulevard.
Yes.
They did it.
And they finally gave us Sunset Boulevard. I want to say 2025, so I can no longer say what Coneheads is on 4K, but not Sunset Boulevard.
Well, no, Under Siege, Steven Seagal's best is going to be on 4K, so we can really get a good look at the birthday cake scene, like we always wanted to.
Yeah.
Oh well. Speaking of machine guns and battleships. We're talking about, is it a whole genre? It's a genre, right? War movies.
Yeah, it's a genre.
War movies is a whole genre. But I had a little trouble thinking about it, about defining it.
Yeah.
Because it's not as cut and dry as you'd think. And I think, like, first, like, there's the very super obvious war movies and they're very, very serious.
Military operations, let's say.
Yeah, and they're about like a real, at least a part of a real war, usually from history times, right? Like those are the war movies.
Oh, wait. For the purposes of this, we're not counting like Starship Troopers and Empire Strikes Back.
Well, that's what I don't think we have to, no, but that's my point. Like there is that other, I don't even know what you would call it, but I mean, I would even throw like Rambo 2 into that, and it's a tone. It's a tone thing, right?
Although I would absolutely consider First Blood,
right.
If not a war movie, at least a war adjacent movie. You know, like it dealt with PTSD serious issues about
it was definitely adjacent, but like the second one, and like think about a movie like Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen et al. That's it's a military movie, but there's some one-liners. There's a little bit of a jokey tone. One guy's gonna die, but that's about it. And it's just not. They're not shooting for realistic in any shape, in any way, right?
Yeah.
And
then you got the Holocaust, which is another weird wrench to throw in there because it is World War II. But I don't know whether or not I definitely count those as war movies. Holocaust is sort of its own thing, but I don't know.
Could you put them in the same bucket as something like First Blood, because it is war adjacent, right? And it depends, because some of them have quite a bit to do with the actual war and the military aspect of it, and some don't. Life is Beautiful.
One of my maybe 5 or 6 favorite films that's ever been produced to celluloid.
That covers a lot, like a lot of experiences during that period. So I don't know, man. I don't know. All I know is when we were in school in the 90s, it was a war movie free for all. Like I remember in school, like they made us watch Schindler's List. They made us watch Life is Beautiful. They made us watch Saving Private Ryan when it came out in grade school. I remember we watched that. Jesus,
they really wanted you guys to not enlist.
I guess. I don't know. I think it was a statewide thing in, I want to say 7th grade, where we all had to learn this unit on the Holocaust as part of our history classes. Do you remember this?
I remember learning about the Holocaust in school. I don't know if it was part of any kind of statewide.
I think there was a thing. But anyway,
we certainly didn't watch Schindler's List.
Did you see Saving Private Ryan in the theater? Do you remember?
I know I've seen the movie. I don't know if it was in theater. I doubt it was in theaters.
Okay. I had a weird I think you said this too. You had a weird relationship with war movies growing up, and we had something similar, but I'll let you talk about it first because it's more your story. But,
so I wouldn't say growing up, but what happened was, so I had no problems with war movies growing up. I mean, I loved, I don't even know if you would count this as a war movie. Forrest Gump was one of my favorite movies, and there were a lot of movies where people got blown to bits in combat. And, like it didn't really faze me that much. Mm-hmm. And then we graduated high school, and I signed whatever that form is for the FAFSA. FAFSA? I don't know. I can't remember anymore.
FAFSA, that's the student loan stuff, the financial aid
the student
shit.
loan stuff required you to sign something saying like, listen, I'm good with being in the draft. If you needed financial aid.
Thing.
Yes, selected service. That's what it was. And I absolutely needed the financial aid. There was no, ways around that. So I signed the thing. And I mean, to be honest with you, what were the chances that, there was really going to be a draftable war? I mean, the last time we had been to war was like Vietnam. That was like,
well, there was the Gulf War
20, 30 years ago.
That was like 2 weekends.
But they didn't need to draft people for that. Like, that was small enough incursion that we were able to just kind of do whatever with the people we had. And then, like, we were in college maybe 2 weeks. And 9/11 happens, and then we're going to war with Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan and the entire Middle East. And it's escalating, and it doesn't seem like there's any getting out of it. And that's when I started getting a little worried. And I said, like, all right, if I get drafted to go over to the Middle East, I'm going to go. I'm not like a draft dodger. I'm not, like whatever. I love and support my country, blah, blah, blah. But I can't be watching movies where people are getting blown to bits and their guts are falling out of their stomach. Because so many of the war movies I've seen, like the moral of it is war is hell, don't do war. Yeah. And that's great. I'm not going to start any wars.
It's usually the lesson people walk away from when they've participated in a war.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like, I wasn't going to deliberately enlist, but, like, if it was going to happen against my will, I couldn't watch any. And I couldn't watch any of those movies for really the entire period that I was of draftable age. Because those wars never really ended.
That's like 20 I guess they years. Did. Yeah, it was 20 years.
So I there was a long period there where I really didn't watch any unless I absolutely had to. And I mean, there were some that I absolutely had to watch either for school or, as part of some kind of like, like I've said in the past, like I've seen all the Best Picture winners and all the IMDb top 250. Like there's a lot of war movies in there, but I don't know. For the most part, it's not like I was seeking them out if I didn't have to.
It's hard for people who weren't of that age to understand. But yeah, it was literally our second week of college as freshmen.
Yeah,
like I remember it was the second Tuesday, like the second time I'd been to that morning class. And they don't understand how little we knew in those first few weeks, right? Like that first day was nuts. No one knew what had happened, who had hit us, if it was over. You heard the Pentagon got hit and you're like, what the fuck? Like this is a war.
I thought the Pentagon was such a big deal and nobody focused on that at all. Like to this day, like the Pentagon got hit, which to me was like, oh shit, they got the Pentagon?
It's like
nobody cared.
Yeah, well they fixed it.
Nobody cared.
They fixed it in like 3 weeks. They were like, we slapped some concrete on it. It's all good. But yeah, it was scary as shit. Nobody knew what was going on. And I remember having that conversation with my roommate who I'd known all of 2 weeks. Yeah, and it was so what are we gonna do? Like, do we wait and get drafted? Do we go sign up and be all like patriot? Like, we got attacked. This is some Pearl Harbor shit. What are we gonna do? We didn't do anything, of course, and just waited to see what would happen. And it was
we used the power of the pen, Dave. Yes. We were journalists.
That's right. We were writing about.
I'm a writer, not a fighter.
We were writing about the Patriot Act and shit in college newspapers. But I had the same kind of feeling, but it came a little earlier. I loved war movies as a kid, like the whole pantheon of '80s war movies. Full Metal Jacket and Platoon and like I grew up watching the Rambo movies far too much, including the first one.
Too much.
So and I kind of lumped them all in together a little bit. Because, then there's movies like Chuck Norris, like Missing in Action, like those Vietnam movies that were of a different caliber. Yeah, they were earnest, but they weren't good. You know, they were serious, but they were cheaper and just awful acting, you know. But I kind of lumped it all together, and I didn't think about the distinction. The only one that really stood out was Platoon. Kind of fucked me up a little bit. But, man, if you go and rewatch that one, it's not even a tiny bit gory compared to what came after. So I forgive my child self a little bit. But I went to the theater in what was it, 1994, to see fucking Saving Private Ryan with a buddy of mine and my dad.
I didn't realize it was that early.
98.
Yeah, I was going to say, I always thought it was like 98, 99.
That makes much more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember I had like an oh fuck moment in the theater when I was just like, oh shit. So that's what it's really like. Oh, fuck that. No.
Fuck
nope.
that.
The Normandy invasion, the beach scene, D-Day in the very beginning. Again, no, people who watch movies today and grew up afterward, you can't understand how fucking crazy that was to see that the first time, especially if you saw it in the fucking theater with the speakers,
surround sound with the bullets whizzing past your head.
Man, dude, and like so many things from that sequence have become cliches. You don't even remember all the shit it did for the first time. You know, and just the camera views and the angles became entire levels of video games. You know, it's that, and it scared the shit out of me is what it did. It really scared the shit out of me. And that movie had the advantage of, it leaned into enough war movie cliches, of which there are many. They made a whole flick called Tropic Thunder about them. It did a good job of avoiding the corniest ones, you know, and then it did a few unexpected things. Like killing the entire cast almost by the end of the movie, except Matt Damon and that one guy. It freaked me out so bad. I'm like, I just couldn't watch war movies the same way anymore, which I guess is a good thing. And I started looking at the old ones again with different questions, I guess. And
when you say the old ones, how far back are you going?
I can't watch war movies past a certain point because they're just too fucking corny. Like when you get to like the John Wayne old black and white movies, I can't do it.
So like when we're talking about propaganda, like, you know, there's so few pro-war movies post like 1970 or so.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, you could call them pro-military movies too without being pro-war, I guess, but. Like, I don't know, man. There's no movie about Vietnam that's pro-war, right? Like, every movie about that conflict, whatever you want to call it, is nothing's in a positive light. World War II, there were a lot of rah-rah propaganda-ish movies made about it during and after. And, like, I mean, there's a few gems, but most of them are more like espionage movies that I kind of like, you know, like Guns of Navarone or, you know, The Blue Max, which I think is more of a World War I movie. But still, those old ones, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Those Audie Murphy movies and stuff, I've tried. I've given them a look. They're just too much. I recently watched him. He was in a version of The Red Badge of Courage. Awful goddamn movie. Awful movie. But then I think Saving Private Ryan kind of changed war movies, even from, you know, there was that spat in the 80s where it was like, yep, all right, it's okay, we're going to start making Vietnam movies, you know. And then, you know, it ran out of gas, and you had a couple things in the 90s. I think Born on the 4th of July ended up in the 90s, which was a big deal. But it changed everything, you know. And going into the 2000s, you had a lot of World War II movies and series like Band of Brothers and shit like that. But then we had a whole new war, and we had new veterans, and you know, the Hurt Locker, things like that started coming out. Black Hawk Down in the 90s was a big deal, and I think that was the level of realism that movies had to get to if you were going to be called a serious war movie. You know, those two, Saving Private Ryan and Black Hawk Down,
You know what's interesting is that whenever I talk to people, you know, like especially for the first time, you know, I always ask people like, you know, what's your favorite movie? Because I can get a lot out of that, you know, like both like learning about you and, you know, kind of like striking up a conversation.
That's a good icebreaker.
Yeah, whenever I'm talking to veterans, one of the things I always ask is, you know, if they seem like the kind of person that's open to talking about it, you know, like, what would you say is the most realistic, you know, war movie or whatever that you've seen that, you know, like for somebody who's never been there to, you know, kind of paint a really good picture of what it's like? And I'll tell you, just about every single person I've asked that question to has come back with Band of Brothers.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I worked in a sector where I interacted with a lot of veterans for a while, and they had a lot of different opinions. A lot of the guys liked movies like Full Metal Jacket and Platoon because their fathers were vets or their grandfathers, and it reminded them of their stories and their time in the service. Other ones, nobody says Jarhead. I never had anyone say Jarhead. That was a great movie, though. That's an interesting one. That's has very little to do with actual war, and it's more psychology and boot camp. That's a whole nother genre. Is boot camp.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you mentioned Full Metal Jacket. I mean, Full Metal Jacket is very unique. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say very unique in that, you know, it's really one of the only ones I can think of that focuses on the boot camp side of it. You know.
Well, I mean,
I guess it's only half the movie, but yeah.
Well, you know, there's some of Forrest Gump is in boot camp, right?
Yeah.
A chunk of Band of Brothers is in boot camp. There's a movie called Tigerland that's entirely about a Vietnam boot camp. There's Officer and a Gentleman, which is a different kind of movie, but also all about training school. Like Stripes. You know, like this
is what happens when I cut myself off from watching a genre. Like, look at how unique this is.
No, I was thinking about this too. Like the preparation is almost a whole separate kind of thing, and like Full Metal Jacket and Forrest Gump, they do both, and Band of Brothers too. They show the journey.
Yeah, I mean, Forrest Gump's a little different because Forrest Gump, they spend all of 10 minutes in boot camp.
Yeah, well, him and Bubba getting to know each other. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, like, not to say that it needs to be negative, but you know, it wasn't really like we're gonna focus on the things about boot camp that I don't know. Like you said, it was really just like a way for Forrest and Bubba to meet each other and, you know, like all that, but. Full Metal Jacket really leaned into the dehumanization of breaking down someone's psychology and rebuilding them back up as a killing war machine. Mm-hmm. You know, and that was one of the things that really scared me about that movie. You know, it's one of my favorite, at least one of my favorite war movies. But you know, holy shit, just the idea of. You know, I guess you want to put yourself in Private Pyle's position, and I mean that would be me. I'm the fat ass that you know, and to just see what he went through, you know, oh my god.
I would have hoped I'd have better test scores, and I could have gotten not had to go to the Marines, but probably not.
Is that how it worked?
Not. It depends. It depends on how you got into it. I don't know, man.
Because Private Joker, he got assigned to the journalism, right?
Yeah.
I could have done that.
Yeah, see? Yeah, Stars and Stripes, man. Stars and Stripes. Yeah. And also, boot camp was abbreviated, too, during the war. My dad was in the Navy. He actually joined the Navy when he was 17, so he wouldn't get drafted into something worse. And his boot camp was extremely short because they were just trying to get people in, you know. But his brother got drafted into the Army. And, it was I think that colored it too for us because it was just a generation before. And they had to go through all that shit and dealing with the draft board and the draft numbers and everything, you know. We just expected, you know, the next major conflict, this is just going to happen again.
Yeah, I looked up the they had like a thing online where you could plug in your birthday and see like when you would have been called, and I would have been called in like one of the first couple rounds. Like it would have
Really?
been like right out of the gate. Yeah, my birthday would have hit. So
Ooh, I'll have to look that up. That's dark. That's dark. I
now
like that.
now I do have both flat and wide feet. That would have gotten me out of Vietnam. I don't know if that's still a thing today.
Really? Interesting. Yeah, I'd like to think I had some medical condition. I'm not right. I'm all fucked up. So
There you go.
Something. Could have done what Ted Nugent did. fill your ass crack with peanut butter. You know?
Right? Yeah, like you know what would have been like one for me? Like you ever see In the Army Now with Pauly Shore?
Yeah, sure.
Just walk into the thing and like try to French kiss your best friend. Stop about 2 inches from his mouth and be like, "Is it hot in Chad?" You know.
Then there you go. See, there's also the military parody movies too, the comedies. But there's also what I like to call peacetime military movies.
Ooh, give me an example of that. I can't think of anything.
Heartbreak Ridge is a really good one with Clint Eastwood and Mario Van Peebles. That's another one that's kind of has a boot camp feel. It's a weird movie. It has very little to do with reality, but it's got a lot of great one-liners and just it's almost like a comedy, to be honest. But Stripes is one. Like that's a military comedy that could only be made.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters people.
Yeah. And then there's the other kind, the more serious ones that are about the military, but there's no actual war going on, so they're about something else, like Basic or Courage.
I was going to say Down Periscope.
Down Periscope. Hey, Kelsey Grant. Nice, man. Nice.
There you go.
Sergeant Bilko. No, what's that other one? John Travolta was in that one with called Basic with Samuel L. Jackson. They're always about something like A Few Good Men. You know, it's a military movie, but it's during peacetime. There's no fucking war, so it's about something else. It's a courtroom drama. They did a lot of that in the 90s, you know, because Courage Under Fire was the one that was kind of about the Gulf War. That was the one with Denzel Washington and Meg Ryan. And she plays someone, she was supposed to be the first female Medal of Honor recipient. That's the one Matt Damon was in when he was really young. And he got like super skinny because he was playing a guy who had AIDS. No, never saw that one.
I didn't see that one. No.
Yeah. The General's Daughter. I think that's another one. They're basically just crime dramas set in the military world. You know, they're slick. I don't know, man.
I mean, another one that would be kind of like post-war time would be First Blood. I mean, you mentioned that earlier, you know, like not really about a war specifically. It was
it's true.
Like, you know,
yeah, 81.
And I mean,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I still maintain First Blood is like a clean 10 out of 10. Like I know it probably gets less respect than it deserves because of the sequelitis that Sylvester Stallone has.
Absolutely. But standing alone.
The first movie just about like PTSD and, you know, like the way that the veterans were treated when they came home.
If you pretend that it didn't have
movie.
any sequels, it really is something.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a movie. It really is. And the acting's incredible. It has a very distinctive look. Like it's just a classic, to be honest. But they keep retreading the same ground over and over again. I'm sure we're going to get a Vietnam movie eventually.
Well, I mean, how much is there really to say about it? Like, you know, I know you got to keep bringing it up every few years just to keep instilling in people that this is what war is like. Because, you know, I guess you play enough Call of Duty and you get anesthetized to it. But realistically, how much is there to say about the experience of war?
Well,
you know,
it seems to be an endless amount. We've been writing and reading about it since Homer and the Iliad. You know, so I guess we're never going to get sick of it until we get sick of war, which would be nice, but I don't think it's going to happen. But hey, man, like, I don't know. Mel Gibson did that We Were Soldiers movie. That was in 2002. That's the last, like, non-focused one other than that Spike Lee one he made, but that was weird. That was different.
Wait, which Spike Lee movie was?
Oh, I think it was called The Nine Bloods or The Sick. God damn it. It was mostly set in the present day. And about a group of veterans Six Bloods, I think it was. But there were flashbacks to the war and shit. It was
I'll have to look that up. I love Spike Lee, but I don't remember that one.
It's
might be another one I deliberately avoided at the time.
It's kind of a tough watch, to be honest, and the logic of the plot is a little shaky.
Okay.
I'm trying to be generous. It's a little absurd. Sure. It's a little absurd, but I don't know. It's definitely worth seeing at least once.
You know what I was thinking when you talk about? Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say like I remember when Inglourious Bastards came out. I remember thinking like, have we truly run out of Holocaust stories that we're making them up now?
Yeah. No, again with those two weirdos, I think that was more of a. There's also that other exploitation era of war movie that came after World War II, and they were like kind of spy movies, but not. They're usually about insurgents or the resistance because it's cheaper to shoot something like that than it would be full scale battles and shit. So I don't know, man, but it was fun, wasn't it? I love that movie. Do you like that movie? Inglourious
Which movie
Bastards?
specifically? Oh, Inglourious Bastards. Yeah, I liked it. I'm gonna come down positive on that. Yeah, I liked it. I just thought at the time it was like, okay, this is a very serious subject, and I guess there have been other fictionalized Holocaust movies. I remember Sarah's Key came out around the same time, and that did really well. And then I remember hearing that was fiction, and I was like, really? We're out of Holocaust stories? There's nothing left to say, but
Okay, all right. Speaking of fake, have you ever seen a movie called Tears of the Sun with Bruce Willis?
I want to say that I did. That does sound familiar.
It was set in Africa, 2003. It's about a group of special forces dudes during a civil war breaks out, and they're sent in to get some missionaries across a border, right?
Yeah.
That's another one of these peacetime war movies, but it was a really like high budget, well done, kind of overlooked one. But it goes to this idea I have that every generation has wanted to see their new crop of actors, as soldiers, cast as soldiers. It seems like every big generation comes along with, just enough of actors from the previous generation to play the older soldiers in command, and then all the young guys can be dressed up. I just don't think that's going to happen again because the new crop of actors, they just look too young. They all look too fucking young.
All it takes is, okay, you need a group of 18-year-old looking people, and, Timothy Chalamet, right?
And there's been more recent ones that I keep giving credit for. I haven't really liked a lot of them, like Dunkirk in 1917. They were big projects. They were well done, huge casts. I don't know. They just seem out of my grasp. I didn't
really like Dunkirk. I don't know. Every year I pick a movie to watch on my birthday, and usually because I was born in the end of December, it's trying to predict something that will have a lot of Oscar buzz behind it, something that, maybe can be the best picture.
Okay.
And I remember that year I picked Dunkirk, and we were all just bored to tears. It was like, oh, God. And a lot of it that was Christopher Nolan, right?
Yep,
so, a lot of it is just, can you hear it? And, I don't know. Is it just overly pretentious for the sake of overly pretentious? I don't know.
I felt like such a dick when I'm like halfway through this movie. I can't tell the pilots apart because they got their masks on and they all sound British. I just can't tell.
Yeah.
I just can't fucking tell. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one either. I didn't get it. All right, so here's a question for categorization and nerd purposes.
Sure.
What about pre-firearms? Like, do movies like that count as war movies? Like, would you call Braveheart?
Like the opening of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where they're throwing
like would you
bones at each other?
Would you call Braveheart a war movie?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I never really thought of it like that before, but they do count. They do count. Oh, there's so many.
It's the same. Like, you can take the themes of Braveheart and apply them to really any war, and I think that's what it's all about: is the themes.
From when you used to watch them, do you have a favorite and a worst? war movie?
All right, so I guess it depends on the stuff that we're counting and the stuff that we're not. So like I said, like Life is Beautiful is probably my one of my favorite movies ever. So if Holocaust movies count, that's it. If it has to be about like a military kind of incursion sort of thing, I would say Full Metal Jacket would be definitely up there.
Okay.
You know, like I you know what it is? Like I really love the first half of that. You know, as much as it terrifies me, like, you know, Arlie Ermey is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a trip. He's a trip.
Vincent D'Onofrio is an incredible actor in that movie. It's just such an incredible, and I love Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
So such an amazing thing.
And Modine too. Modine's pretty damn good in that. Everybody delivers a hell of a performance in that. That's my favorite.
Sure.
I think that's definitely my favorite Stanley Kubrick movie for sure. Is Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, we should have like a whole episode just on that.
We could.
Yeah.
We could. I have a weird love-hate relationship with that guy.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it spurs that you and I were in the same Stanley Kubrick class in college, and our professor was awful.
Fucking awful. Fucking awful.
So like a lot of the hate comes from that. But I mean, you know, I'm going to save my thoughts on Kubrick because, you know, like we should definitely do a whole show on that.
sure.
But I love Kubrick as a director. I totally can't remember where I was going. Oh, Full Metal Jacket, I love. If we're gonna count something like a First Blood, that would certainly be up there. You know, yeah.
Respectable.
And if we're gonna count like a Tropic Thunder, I love Tropic Thunder. What do you mean, you people?
One time I had an assignment for a website I was writing for. I had to watch the movie and notate every single war movie reference that I could think of that they were making. I ended up with, it was a long fucking list, dude. It was like 50 something. It was a long list. Some of them were a little bit of a reach, but
at what point is it a deliberate reference, and what point is it just like these are the cliches that you mentioned before that we just do?
Yeah. Or is it just accidental? It's just me seeing something that I recognize, but they're also movie nerds who made it. So I don't know. It was a lot of fun though. There's a movie. Speaking, this is circling back really nicely. Nick Cage once did a war film, and you're right. There isn't a genre he hasn't touched. It has to be, I think, the worst war movie I've ever seen. It's called Wind Talkers. And it was directed.
I remember that. I didn't see it, though.
It was directed by John Woo. This was like right after he did Face Off with him. And they did this. And like it's a John Woo movie in World War II is what it is. And yes, there's Nick Cage like popping up and shooting two Tommy guns, one in each hand, and doing the Nick Cage yell, and it's so bad. It's such a fucking horrible movie. Horrible fucking movie.
If I was going to have some worst ones or things that I would put on the other end of the spectrum, you ever see Mrs. Miniver? Like, you know, I guess a lot of those like propaganda movies, you know, like.
No.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so as a result of having seen all the Best Picture winners, all the IMDb Top 250 winners, there were a lot of those, you know, that were World War II movies. And I remember Mrs. Miniver won Best Picture. I can't even remember what year, but it would have been, I guess, the 40s. I don't know, maybe the 50s.
Okay.
Probably the 40s, because it would have had to have been World War II propaganda, but it was all about like what the women can do at home, you know, while the men are off at war. And I was like, how the fuck did this win Best Picture? You know, like, it's just so stupid. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, and again, like, you know, if certain things count, like, you know, I think Rambo 3 might have been like the movie that I saw where, or maybe Rambo 2, like one of those ones where you just got like a dude in like, you know, a headband just spraying bullets into the jungle for no reason.
Commando. Yeah. That would be one of them. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have one to nominate for pre-firearms. The Last Samurai. That's a bridge one. It's a bridge, you know, because the guns come in at the end. Sure. I think that's a pretty fucking good one. That was a good one. Tom Cruise.
Okay. Tom Cruise.
Top Gun.
I mean, that would have been like.
What's some military propaganda? There you go. Top Gun.
Yeah, that would have been like the end of the period where I respected Tom Cruise, because that would have been like right after Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire would be like
03.
Maybe like one of my 50 or so favorite movies.
You want a really bad one here? Pearl Harbor with fucking Affleck and everyone else and Cuba Gooding Jr. That was fucking terrible. That was a terrible movie.
Who would have predicted that Affleck would have actually become like a good actor and a good director?
I know. I hated him for a really long time. And
he was like the dude from Mallrats that just wanted to like get people in an uncomfortable place.
Yeah, I thought he was like Kevin Smith's buddy and Matt Damon's buddy, and that's how he got everything he got. And then I saw The Town, and I was like, "Fuck, all right, fine, I guess."
Or go fuck yourself.
Did you see that new one he did with Damon, The Rip?
No, I've been seeing videos of them promoting it.
Yeah, that's the one they were doing the press junkets for, where Damon said the thing about how Netflix is telling people to make movies.
Yeah, and I mean, I sent you that because I was like, this is the sort of thing we should definitely talk about. Maybe for another day, but just like the changes, the negative changes, because I can't think of any positive changes that the modern film is having to go through.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah,
and could you imagine a war movie where they have to restate the plot 5 times?
Yeah.
That would be upsetting. And we're kind of ruin the atmosphere a little. Did you ever see Go ahead.
I was going to say, I watched a movie a few months ago that was made in reels. And when I say made in reels, I mean the movie was split into like 90 or so, however many second, like 60 to 90 second videos, vertical. And it was not that it was cut up that way. It was made for that format. And that's why I watched it, because I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Like, I don't know how well that would like play out. And it was, I say things like The Rise of Skywalker was the worst, big budget movie ever made. And that's why I have to put that asterisk there and say, like, it's the worst big budget movie. Like, this is the worst movie made by people who have money. This was clearly like the worst movie I've ever seen.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Didn't Ice Cube just do a movie called The War of the Worlds? It's getting nominated for like the worst movie of the
Razzies,
year.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing until I saw it got Razzie nominations.
I saw something about it on Instagram, and that one's like, I think it's all web videos. It's just all like him streaming, like live stream. I was like, yeah, that's this is what found footage has become.
It can be done well. I don't know if I've mentioned what was the host or whatever on this show, but it can be done well. You just have to be creative enough.
Found footage. There's definitely good found footage movies, and there's awful ones, like really awful ones.
Sure.
It's a delicate dance that they do. Can't do a found footage war movie, can you?
Wow. I don't see why not.
That's actually kind of here's a weird memory associated with the movie Platoon, okay? In high school, I dated a girl whose father was a Vietnam veteran, like infantry, like Platoon, the guys jumping out of helicopters and shit in the jungle. That was him. That's what he did. He was pretty fucked up over it. He never really got over it.
Yeah.
He never really talked about it. His brother was also in the war, and he had some real problems and alcoholism and all kinds of shit, right? Really nice guy. So I got the special edition of Platoon when it came out on DVD, right? And my girlfriend said, I forget why we were talking about it, and she's like, my dad said he would really like to watch it with you. I'm like, really? It's like, all right, I guess I could do that. That's cool. So we watched the whole thing, and he was cool. He was fine. He didn't have any problems or anything. He just kind of sat there and laughed a few times, honestly. And then there was a documentary that auto-played as a special feature afterward where they interviewed all the actors and shit, right? Talked about the boot camp they went through, yada, 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 Oliver Stone doing his thing. And then at the very end, they did this big slideshow of real photos from Vietnam. And I shit you not, dude, he was in one of the photos.
Oh, wow.
He was in one of the photos they panned across, and he got up and we saw it. And I remember I looked at my girlfriend. I'm like, that really looks like those old pictures you showed. Because, you know, he had a mustache and shit. He looked different in the 70s. And
turn around, the exact same photo is hanging up on the wall,
dude,
framed.
It was really close because up in the stairway there was a photo of him from in his fatigues, like in Saigon, you know, in town. But he, you know, that's how he looked. So I saw it often, and we looked over to him, and he'd gotten up and walked out of the room. It was absolutely him, and he recognized the two guys that were with him in the photo, and they had both died in the war.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. And I'll never forget. And I kept that. All these years, I kept that special edition of Platoon. Just because
I'm sure the
of
same
that.
special feature will have carried over to, you know, Blu-ray.
I'm sure.
Maybe not necessarily, but
I
usually.
just don't know if the outro would be intact. You know what I mean? But anyway, I kept it.
It was part of the film as it played. Like, it wasn't just like, okay, afterwards we're gonna run into the special features. Like,
No, I don't know what I forget. I honestly forget. I just know it was on the same disc. I just know it was on the same disc, and then the extra disc had all kinds of other shit on it. But that was the cooler one. Yeah, that was pretty neat. That was. But the thing that made me think of it was, did you ever see Apocalypse Now?
yes.
All right. Speaking of wild war movies.
Speaking of the Sheen family war movies,
the
right?
Sheen Legacy, and if you ever seen Hot Shots Part D,
Part D.
excellent
Of course.
reference
I saw
to
that theatrically, son.
That is one of the most beautiful sequences ever filmed in a comedy. When him and Martin Sheen pass on the boats, I Loved You in Wall Street. It's an amazing moment. It's an amazing
You know what's
moment.
funny is that when I saw Hot Shots Part D theatrically, there is no chance in hell I would have caught any reference they were making, any, you know, parody they were doing.
No.
It was really just like, hey, here's some people farting at each other. I don't know.
Well, that's why you got to rewatch movies when you get older, you know?
Sure, yeah. That would be a good one to revisit. Do you have to see Hot Shots 1 to appreciate Hot Shots Part 2?
You're going to miss
Is
one
it
joke.
nuanced? Yeah.
You'll miss one joke about a sizzling belly, that's all. Back to the depressing nom shit.
Sure.
Do you, Apocalypse Now, there's a scene where, I think is Clean. It's Clean. He's playing a tape on one of those old silver portable tape recorders, right? Mm-hmm. He's playing a tape from home that his parents had recorded, an audio tape. And that was a big thing, that it was a relatively new, cassettes were relatively new at the time, but they had these cheap players that were available in Asia that these guys were getting for, like, you know, they were a few bucks. So people from home would record tapes and, you know, the family talking to them and send it to them and they could play it. And after my girlfriend's dad saw that featurette at the end of Platoon and recognized that guy, for whatever reason, it got him digging through his old shit. And the next time I came over, he had a whole box of tapes that his family had recorded and sent to him, and tapes that he had recorded in Vietnam and sent home. His mom had kept them all in a shoebox. And he started playing them. He put him in the fucking stereo and started playing them, and that's all I could think of was that fucking scene from Apocalypse Now. And it was pretty emotional and weird. It was really interesting, though. Like, from
is this the rabbit hole that we went down from found footage war movie?
Yeah. This is how we got there.
I said it's possible.
So now that's what I'm thinking, man. There could be a script there.
Sure.
Something somehow told through, like maybe it's a mystery, you know?
Okay.
Something unraveled through these old tapes that are kind of a back and forth conversation from someone in war and someone on the home front. It could be kind of neat, you know?
I like that.
And that's a very Vietnam-y thing because there was no other war before that where that technology...
Oh, wait, was that why it was recorded? Like they were recorded as, you know, almost like audio letters to somebody at home?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like a journal, more like a, hey, you know, let's all fuck around and like talk into the thing, like, or really worst case scenario, let's record the actual battle.
No, yeah, they were essentially audio letters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That's how they used them too. And you'd hear, on the ones he recorded, his buddies would come in and say shit in the background and cuss and stuff and embarrass him, And
he's cheating on you.
Oh shit. So yeah, there's something.
You never
there,
said
man.
what you asked me what my favorite and least favorite not horror movies, war movies would be.
Yeah.
What would yours be?
Oh, I think my favorite is still Platoon. There's something about that one. Tom
Definitely
Berenger.
a good one. Yeah.
Tom Berenger in that as Barnes. I'll never get tired of watching that. I think my other favorite one, that's tough. That would have to be that'd be a tie between Jarhead and Black Hawk Down, I think.
Black Hawk Down was a good one. Yeah.
American Sniper is okay. I have problems
that was
with
all right,
it.
yeah.
Lone Survivor, I also have issues with. I have mostly other issues I have with Mark Wahlberg, specifically. Not him as a person, him as an actor.
Sure.
But that's a pretty decent modern one. I think one of the worst one I think is Pearl Harbor. That's really fucking bad.
Yeah.
That and the fucking Nick Cage one. Fuck that shit. That was terrible. Terrible. But
you
there's a
mentioned
lot in the middle.
American Sniper. That made me think of I don't know why. Maybe because it was like the same approximate era, like modern war movie. Yeah. Did you ever see Hacksaw Ridge?
Yeah, I did.
I actually liked that. And that was a true story.
Was that Clint Eastwood? Did he direct that?
That was I don't know if he directed it. I was gonna say that was Andrew Garfield in the role.
Right.
Yeah.
There's who the fuck directed this thing? I liked the movie. There were literally two things that just dragged me right out of it. One of them was absolutely Mel Gibson directed that. Okay, that was his other Vietnam movie. That was his other war movie. I mean,
which one?
Hacksaw Ridge. Mel Gibson directed it.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, he I think he directed We Were Soldiers, which is also based on a true story and a really, really good book by a longtime war correspondent. It was a really good book. It was called We Were Soldiers Once and Young is the full title. And his other war movie is The Patriot, that American Revolution one. But yeah, Hacksaw Ridge was really interesting. I just didn't like, what's his name in it?
Garfield?
No, he was fine. It was the Swingers guy.
Swingers guy.
Fucking...
Why am I drawing a blank on the cast of that film?
Oh, fuck. Not happy from the MCU. The other one, Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
He drove me crazy in that. I fucking couldn't stand him. He was way too old, and I thought it was a terrible performance. And there's that one shot where that guy just pops his head up and he gives like a Matthew Lillard scream and then just like promptly gets shot in the forehead. And I just busted out laughing and I felt so bad. But it took me right out of it. It just looked so goofy to me the first time I saw it. I was like, oh, no, what am I into here?
But that's another one. I mean, it's very war, like military war, but at the same time also not. It was the very, like it was down a unique path as a story goes.
Well, yeah. Speaking of, recently I saw a flick called the Survivor. Have you ever heard of this? It's about a guy named Harry Haft who was forced to box in the concentration camps during the war. Yeah. It's Ben Foster had the lead in that, and it was really interesting. And there's another movie that's similar to that, kind of the same. Apparently, this happened more than once. So that's another the war adjacent. There's even Holocaust adjacent movies.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Someone should write a book about it.
Yeah. We should end this on a happier note though. Like, tell me about like, your fun parody ones or your, like all that.
Fun parody ones. Wow, man.
Or just the ones that you enjoyed, like the Rambo 3 kind of stuff that you really love.
You said In the Army Now. There you go.
The Army Now.
That's a great one.
What are they going to need water purifiers for?
Okay, I actually do think I kind of liked Down Periscope. I remember liking that when it first came out.
Down Periscope is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Like at least like one of the 30 or 40 funniest movies I've ever seen.
That fucking guy from Half Baked doing the whale noises and shit. That's never not funny, dude. And when they shrank the poor Lauren Holly's uniform, it was ridiculous.
Yes.
And then you got a little Harry Dean Stanton in there too. It does get some points detracted because isn't Paul Schneider in that? Schneider, whatever his fucking name is. Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider. Yeah. He's in that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding. It gets a ding. Now, Tropic Thunder is an amazing movie, dude.
This is Flaming Dragon.
It's a triumph of filmmaking. It truly. It's one of those flicks that I just don't know how. I still don't know how they got it made. To this day, I don't know how it ended up getting fucking finished. But I'm glad it did, dude. I pirated that ages ago. That was like one of the first movies, one of the only movies I ever pirated back then. And I used to watch it on my iPod. It wasn't even like an iPod Touch. It was just an iPod. A little tiny screen. Yeah, man. That was a great one.
I was trying to think of what the first generation was that would have allowed for, like the iPod Photo was like, I think that was just purely pictures. And then I don't know what
it was. One right after that. I literally think they called it an iPod Video.
Okay.
Play MP4s.
Creative naming.
Yeah. Hot Shots Part 2 is one of the better like parody satires. Like that.
Sure.
It's peak slapstick,
Yeah.
And it made sense at the time too. I think Top Gun, and then the whole Rambo thing. It made sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you? Is there a war comedy you can think of? I know a lot of people would say Stripes from our age group.
I still haven't seen Stripes.
No, you never saw it? Wow.
No.
I should see it just for the fact that it's a John Candy movie.
And Bill Murray and Harold Ramis, like the whole crew, like I should definitely see it. Tropic Thunder would probably be, my favorite war movie. That's like that and Down Periscope for sure. But, like I could endlessly quote Tropic Thunder. It's just one of those things. Like it's so hilariously written.
And the bigger movie nerd you are, the more you get out of it. It's true. It's great. And it's a meta movie too. It's a meta movie within a movie about a movie being made.
Yeah, I mean, you know how little respect I have for Tom Cruise. And I mean, that was one of the first movies in like a decade or two. And I didn't even realize that was Tom Cruise at first. But when I realized it was him, Les Grossman was the character?
Yeah, Les Grossman.
Holy shit. He hit like a grand slam with that. Like, and I was like, oh my God.
I didn't.
Why are you not doing this kind of shit?
I know, dude. That's the same.
Stop jumping out of planes. I don't need 4'11", 145-pound Tom Cruise pretending he can be an action star at 70 years old. All right.
Well, apparently he's doing some dark comedy called Digger is coming out. I don't know what it's about, but the very cryptic teaser trailer was released, and it looks like he's bald with and he's wearing shorts and cowboy boots and carrying around a shovel. I don't know what's going on. But maybe now that Mission Impossible's over, maybe he's gonna theoretically he's gonna do some other shit. But the first time I saw Tropic Thunder, I didn't know he was in it at all.
I mean, it's just, it runs so counter to like his public image. Like I'm shocked he even allowed himself to be seen that way. Like I know it's not real, but
the look, that he said he wanted the giant forearms with the hair and the hands. It was his idea. I don't know, man. It was fucking hilarious. I was like, is that Bill Hader? And I was like, that's fucking Tom Cruise. Holy shit. That's as soon as he starts talking,
we discovered that my daughter is a gigantic Jack Black fan.
Oh, yeah?
You know, yeah,
Great.
like, I mean, like his movies right now, you know, they're perfect for their generation. You know, he's just so silly. But I was going through his, you know, filmography to be like, all right, what other movies of his can we show you? And I landed on Tropic Thunder, and I was like, oh man, I wish. Like, I just wish.
Someday.
Oh my God.
Jack Black, I love the first Kung Fu Panda, the original.
Sure,
one.
I mean that's one of the ones she's
great.
seen for sure. But yeah,
We watched the shit out of that one. Man, oof. You could just, his filmography is interesting. Just going through his career, it's pretty fucking wild. First thing I ever saw him in was an episode of The X-Files from the first season.
I don't even remember that. I'll have to go back and if you tell me which one it was. I think I've seen the first season more recently than the rest.
As a matter of fact, it's the same episode with Giovanni Ribisi. It's about the kid who can control lightning.
Gone in 60 seconds.
It takes place it's mostly set in an arcade. They both work in an arcade. Hold on. My wife would know. She's a huge X-Files fan, especially the early seasons. She would know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it. Squeeze, no. Conduit, no.
I think I remember the earlier seasons better because they were just better, you know, in general. But did you watch the X-Files revival seasons?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that was like good classic, like season 1 X-Files, but some of that was fucking hilarious.
It was too hilarious. It was like almost like a spoof of the X-Files.
But like in a good way. I don't know. Like you get old and you get fat and then you're just what? Oh, Fox Mulder. You know? Oh my gosh.
They're doing
the
it
mushroom
again.
Thing?
Apparently they're doing it again. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be in it, but they're doing some kind of revival.
Oh, you can't do it without that.
I think Ryan Coogler might have something to do with it.
It was bad enough when it was just Gillian Anderson and Robert Patrick without, you know, David Duchovny.
That season's rough.
Without them.
That season has a couple decent episodes in it, but it gets real rough.
Was it just one?
Yeah, well, by the end of the series run, I think the final season, she's not even in most of it anymore.
Oh, God.
It's Robert Patrick and that other woman.
I remember there was a scene where they were pointing, they were looking for Duchovny's character, Fox Mulder, and they're looking at him from like, I don't know, 500 yards away, and there's like a dude who's obviously not David Duchovny running, and they're like, oh, there he is, you know, and I'm like, oh, fuck you. You know?
That's Bob from the fucking gaffing team. Get the fuck out of here.
Everything I hate about this right now, but yeah, those first couple seasons or so were classics.
Season 3, episode 3 was the one with Jack Black and Giovanni Ribisi. It was called DPO.
I'm gonna rewatch that.
It was a good one. It was a really good one. One of the coolest X-Files episodes was when Mulder ends up on that ship and it's full of Nazis. You remember that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bringing it back around to the war movie stuff.
There's so many really good ones. There was that one with the family that they were like really inbred in that house.
Home. Oh,
yeah.
We won't watch that in our house. I haven't seen that since it aired on TV. I remember that one fucking me up pretty good.
And there was the one with the dude who could he could fit in like any small opening. You know, he could like contort his body. Yes, yeah.
Squeeze.
Oh man.
Yeah, dude.
You remember the episode titles? That's impressive.
I know some of the early ones, especially the first season. The werewolf one in the first season was amazing too. I think it was called Skinwalker. That was one of my favorites. I loved the X-Files when I was a kid, man. Every week I couldn't wait for it. Could not wait. And when it was a shitty episode, it was the worst thing in the world. I had to wait a whole week. I loved the X-Files, dude. I even liked Millennium. That spin-off show with Lance Henriksen and the dude.
I didn't
from
know there
Lost.
was. I mean, I knew they did the lone gunman thing, but I didn't know there was another spin-off show of the X-Files.
Yeah, they aired concurrently with the later seasons of the X-Files, and it wasn't. It was just set in the same world. They did do a crossover episode at one point.
Yeah.
Well, Millennium ended well before the X-Files. It came and went before the X-Files was over. And it got kind of a soft finale in an X-Files episode. The lead character from Millennium was in a X-Files ep. But it was interesting when it started. It was about a cult that thought the world was going to end when the year 2000 rolled around. It's a very 90s idea. But it started off as like a serial killer of the week episode type of deal, the first season. Can't find it. It's one of those lost TV shows. They issued it on DVD once and then never again, and it is nowhere to be found on any streaming service.
That's what I hate about, I don't want to say our childhood, like our adolescence period and our childhood to a certain extent. Like there were so many things that, like you make a show today and you cross every T and dot every I when it comes to, like ensuring that you're going to have the music rights for all time, ensuring, the digital rights are going to be like put in place for all time, the physical, but then they weren't thinking about anything like that. So so many shows from our, generations, the childhood and high school and college period are just lost, and there's nothing that's going to get them saved, At
the most, they were thinking about maybe syndication.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And there's some of those early HBO shows that are lost because of the same thing. Like HBO wasn't making them. They were being produced by other companies. HBO was just airing them. So they never actually owned them. So they're gone, My wife has a show she remembers called Ed. I've never seen it because you can't find it. And allegedly it's because music played a really big part in the show.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Fucking Malcolm in the Middle, which was such a giant cultural, thing. And there's one season on DVD, and even that has all the music changed, and they were just like, you know what, forget it, we're done with this.
That's the worst fucking thing, was when you go to watch a show on streaming and you find out all the music is gone. It's been replaced with just nonsense.
And I mean, it's that or you don't see it at all, which do you pick?
The show Supernatural?
Yes.
The last place I saw that on streaming, we went to watch one of the early seasons, all the music is gone. All of it. And that's a music-heavy show.
Do they replace it with generic other stuff?
Yes, it's awful. Yeah. It's awful. I had to go pull the discs out. I couldn't do it. We got to the season finale, and I guess they didn't have Wayward Son. They didn't have the rights to do. I was like, get the fuck out of here. We can't. We're not doing this. I'm getting my discs.
You know what's a weird one is Muppet Babies. Do you remember Muppet Babies? This is such a weird rabbit hole to go down as far as like, a show about war, but like
Saturday
Muppet
morning
Babies,
cartoons, yeah.
Yeah, you can't watch like the Muppet Babies from when we were younger, and that was such an awesome show.
I didn't realize
And the reason you
no?
can't watch it is because it is such a rights mess. Because the Jim Henson Company did so many favors for people like Lucas and Spielberg and everything that they were just like on, a phone conversation. Yeah, go ahead, use Yoda. I don't care.
Okay.
And now you can't do shit like that. So they were saying that you will never see that stuff produced again.
I watched the shit out of that, dude.
Yeah.
That and Tiny Toons.
Tiny Toons.
Yeah, that was a thing they were doing back then. Like, let's take the cartoon characters and make them little.
Yeah. It worked. I don't know. It worked.
I guess. Yeah. All right. That's a good spot. Muppet Babies. We went from Platoon and Apocalypse Now to Muppet Babies. Only us. But
we ended it on such a cute note.